We have to cut across to some breaking news which is coming in. Navy officials have informed CNN News 18 that 5 out of the 32 gates of the ITO barrage were found jammed due to heavy silting. This obstruction is hindering the water flow, leading to flooding in adjacent areas. The Civil Administration has requested diving assistance from the Indian Navy. That was yesterday. And a team from the naval diving team in Delhi promptly took action. One group of divers assessed the situation by entering the water, while Army personnel were also present. We're crossing over to CNN News 18's Akash Sharma to get us more details of this. Akash, tell us more about this.
So, Aisha, you see, we are talking about the ITO barrage, where in fact we have 32 sluice gates, and these gates are basically helping us to maintain the water level at that point in time. So what we are learning is that 5 of these gates are jammed because these gates have not been opened for years. And now, yesterday, in fact, day before yesterday, first Army was called in, and yesterday, Indian naval diving team was in fact, called in to help and to assist opening these gates. Now, what we are learning is that after assessing the situation, in fact, that particular team has decided to, carry out the specific operation. But what they need is the specific equipment. And this is the reason why another naval team from Mumbai, Western Naval Command, has been called in. And in fact, that team is coming via, air route and will be here in Delhi. And we are learning that, this team will see as to if they can open these gates. And if it is not possible, they'll cut these gates. So these gates will maintain the water level and will allow, in fact, these gates, opening these gates would allow water to pass from that particular area and will somewhere maintain the level at that point. And, we know that how water is basically entering into main areas and onto roads. And this is the reason why administration as of now is focusing on the opening of these gates, but these gates are jammed. And that is the reason why Army and Navy are helping, in this work.
Akash, the fact that 5 out of the 32 gates of the ITO barrage were found jammed due to the presence of silt, the LG has even pointed out in the last few days that the maintenance work has not been completed. Who ultimately is responsible for this? Those are the questions that people of the capital are also asking.
Right. Aisha, in fact, this was the question that was asked to CM Arvind Kejriwal yesterday. And in fact, Saurabh Bhardwaj was very much there, and they maintained that this barrage and the gates are maintained by Haryana government. We don't know the technicalities or we don't know the truth about it, but yes, ministers on record are saying that Haryana maintains these roads, these gates. And in fact, even when this is the condition that Haryana is maintaining these roads, the question is that you are working here in Delhi, you are the elected government. People would ask the questions to you as to if you are aware that these gates are jammed, or if you are aware that, we'll be facing some sort of difficulties opening these gates. So why Haryana government was not approached on time? And if Haryana government was approached on time, then why no response, in fact, was received? Or if it was received, then why no step was taken further? So there are a number of questions that are, in fact, being raised and are asked by CM Arvind Kejriwal as well.
All right, Akash, thank you so much for joining us and telling us more about this. We're going to take a look at some ground reports that have come in now.
I would also want to give you a glimpse of how the situation looks like right now in the shelter homes which have been created by the authorities over here. In fact, you can see people are still residing in these very camps from the very 4 to 5 days. In fact, now we can say today is the 5th day of Delhi deluge, when in fact Delhi is witnessing such heavy water logging and flooding. And in fact, on the other side also, I want to show you that now there are a number of officials who are on ground working continuously. You can see civil defense officials have also got in here, and in fact food is being given to the victims of these floodings who were living in the low-lying areas. In fact, this is being done by the Delhi authorities. So these are the efforts which are being made by these people over here. You can see how food is being distributed, medicines are being distributed by these people, because most of these people who have been affected by these rains and flooding were those who were staying in the low-lying areas. And in fact, you can see how these services are being provided to these people. Not only this, sanitation also became a very important bit of this thing, of this entire situation. And in fact, mobile toilets have also been installed by the authorities over here so that defecation, these people could actually defecate in these spaces, not in the open, because like we talked about the earlier scenarios as well, about Delhi rains, it is also about the aftermath of this entire flooding, where we can witness certain health hazards. And in fact, you were talking about the ITO area. In fact, now police has barricaded this road, and in fact a large chunk of traffic is being blocked so that people more traffic couldn't go to the ITO side, because ITO side is completely still flooded under the water. And that is the reason why authorities are still making sure that not much traffic goes to that very route, because you have to understand that. And in fact, we have to understand that ITO is one major junction where a lot of roads actually connect you to different parts of the city. And this is the actually the bird's eye view of river Yamuna right now. In fact, yesterday the river Yamuna was very aggressive, and today it seems to be flowing at a calmer rate.
परचून की दुकान थी वो पूरी तरीके से पानी में डूबी हुई है। एक प्रॉपर्टीज की एक यहाँ पर किसी का बड़ी दुकान है, वो भी मैं अंदर तक पानी देख रहा हूँ, चैनल के अंदर पानी है। तो इस तरीके से अब लोग जरूर पहुंचे हैं अपनी उन जगहों पर जिससे उनकी रोजी रोटी चलती है, लेकिन ये रोजी रोटी, ये जिंदगी दोबारा पटरी पर पहुंचने में इसको समय लगेगा। और लोगों की लाखों की गाड़ियां मैं यहाँ पर देख पा रहा हूँ मोनिका, लाखों की गाड़ियां, BMW, बड़ी बड़ी ब्रांडेड कार्स हैं, जो जितना पैसा उतनी महंगी गाड़ी, और उतनी महंगी गाड़ी फिलहाल पानी में इस तरीके से यहाँ पर सड़ रही है। तो ये स्थिति है पूरी दिल्ली की।
मेरी मौजूदगी देश की राजधानी दिल्ली में है। जी हाँ, ये दिल्ली का यमुना बाजार इलाका है, जो इस वक्त आप देख पा रहे हैं आधे से ज्यादा पूरा इलाका पानी में डूब चुका है। और आप देख पा रहे हैं कि कमर से ऊपर, ये देखिए, कमर से ऊपर फिलहाल जो है वो पानी है। जमुना ठीक इस इलाके के पीछे है। जमुना का पानी लगातार जो है वो घरों की तरफ बढ़ता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। घरों में पानी ने कब्जा जमा लिया है और यहाँ के लोग इतने परेशान हैं कि उन्हें प्रशासन की तरफ से पहले कभी भी कोई इंटीमेशन दिया नहीं गया। इससे पहले जब भी इस तरीके से पानी आता था तो लोगों को बता दिया जाता था। लेकिन अब देखिए, बड़ी खबर यह है कि दिल्ली में एक बार फिर से येलो अलर्ट जारी किया गया है। अगर बारिश का पानी इस तरीके से बढ़ता हुआ नजर आएगा तो आप देखिए, ये जो घर है जो पानी में डूबे हुए हैं, यहाँ पर लोगों की समस्याएं किस तरीके से बढ़ सकती हैं। आप देख रहे हैं, एक ये लोहे की सीढ़ी आप देख पा रहे हैं, ये एकमात्र सहारा है। घर के अंदर लोग जाएं तो जाएं कैसे? इसी एकमात्र सहारे के लोग जो है इसे इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं और अपने घरों में जा रहे हैं, इंतजार कर रहे हैं कब मदद जो है सरकार की तरफ से यहाँ पर पहुंचेगी। हमने लगातार यहाँ पर इलाके में जितने भी लोग हैं उनसे बातचीत करने की कोशिश की है। कुछ आम लोग जो हैं वो एक दूसरे की मदद जरूर कर रहे हैं। प्रशासन से नाराजगी है। नाराजगी ये है कि जो सामान है, कुछ लोगों का सामान पानी में बह गया है। कुछ लोगों के थोड़े पक्के मकान जरूर हैं तो छतों पर चढ़ गए हैं, सामान छतों पर चढ़ा दिया गया है, लेकिन कुछ लोगों के सामान जो है वो बह गए हैं। मवेशी है वो बह गए हैं। यहाँ पर दूर एक गौशाला भी है, वहां पर भी कुछ गायें हैं जिन्हें देखिए मदद के सहारे। भैया कहाँ से आ रहे हैं आप? ये देखिए किस तरीके से हाथों में इस तरीके से कपड़े लेकर के लोग जो हैं, क्योंकि मैं जहां पर फिलहाल मौजूद हूँ ये पूरी सीढ़ियां हैं, ये पूरा जो है ये एक इलाके की कॉलोनी की पक्की कॉलोनी है, लेकिन इस पूरी कॉलोनी में फिलहाल जो है पानी भर गया है। टापू नहीं है ये, ना तालाब है। जिन लोगों के पास बोट है वो तो एक दूसरे की मदद कर ही रहे हैं, क्योंकि ना लाइट है ना पानी की व्यवस्था है। तो इन्हीं बोट्स के सहारे खाने पीने का सामान जो है वो लोगों तक मुहैया हो रहा है, या यूं कहें खाने जो साफ पानी है वो भी लोगों तक पहुंचाया जा रहा है। लेकिन ये स्थिति जो है ये यमुना बाजार इलाके की है, जो बद से बदतर फिलहाल नजर आ रही है। लेकिन दिल्ली के ऐसे तमाम इलाके हैं, फिर वो सदर बाजार हो, ITO हो, ऐसे तमाम इलाके हैं जो इस वक्त सिर्फ और सिर्फ पानी से जलमग्न है। एक बार लगातार हम आपको 360 डिग्री से ये तस्वीरें दिखाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। मैं अपने सहयोगी मानव के पास भी जाऊंगी, लेकिन उससे पहले ये तस्वीरें देखनी बेहद जरूरी है। आप देखिए लोग किस तरीके से घरों की छतों पे बैठे हुए हैं। भैया यही रास्ता है घर को जाने का? यही रास्ता है, इसी से जा रहे हैं आप लोग रोज? तो देखिए, इनसे बात करने के लिए मैं भी एक बार जाने की कोशिश करती हूँ, लेकिन आप देखिए कि कितना बड़ा खतरा है, क्योंकि नीचे तो पूरा पानी भरा हुआ है, लोगों के पास अब जाने के लिए कोई रास्ता है नहीं, यही वो रास्ता है। इतना पानी था पहले, ये 7 से 8 फीट हो गया जो भी
ये उतर गया है थोड़ा पानी, अब
उतर गया है थोड़ा।
हाँ जी, ये दीवार के आर, ये जीने से आर पार चल रहा था पानी,
जीने के आर पार चल रहा था।
हाँ जी।
और आप इसी सीढ़ी के सारे आ रहे थे?
की जो बाढ़ आई थी उसमें ये एक सीढ़ी बची हुई थी आर पार से।
अच्छा।
इस टाइम वो रिकॉर्ड भी टूट चुका है, आर पार हो चुका है, उससे भी ज्यादा पानी आया हुआ है इस बार।
लेकिन कुछ बताया गया था पहले
नहीं,
कि पानी आएगा इस तरीके से?
पानी नहीं बताया गया था कि इतना पानी आएगा,
बताया नहीं गया था।
नहीं जी।
ये अचानक इतना आ गया है, उन्हें भी अंदाजा नहीं था कि इतना पानी आ जाएगा।
और कोई प्रशासनिक इंतजाम हम देख पा रहे हैं कि कुछ लोग मदद कर रहे हैं? आप लोग
प्रशासन
पीने का पानी भी बंद कर रखा है, यहाँ पे कोई वो नहीं है,
कोई सुविधा नहीं है?
कोई अभी कोई आया
लाइट
नहीं है।
कटी हुई है, पीने का पानी आ नहीं रहा है, बिल्कुल बंद कर रखा, कह रहा है अभी आएगा नहीं कुछ दिन पानी।
अलग अलग जगह अलग अलग वजह से आया है। जैसे यहाँ पे ITO पे पानी जो है वो इसकी ब्रिज की वजह से आया है, वहाँ पे राजघाट पे जो पानी है वो बैक मार गया, वो एक ड्रेन, उसकी वजह से आया है। देखिए धीरे धीरे पानी नीचे जा रहा है, कल 208.66 पहुँच गया था, वहाँ से अब 208.38 तक तो आ गया है।
ये समय नहीं है कि हम किसी के ऊपर ब्लेम करें या कुछ और टिप्पणी करें। इस वक्त हमें एक टीम वर्क करने की जरूरत है। कहने के लिए मैं भी बहुत सारी चीजें कह सकता हूँ, लेकिन उसकी जरूरत नहीं है। हमें इस वक्त ये देखना है कि हमारे लोगों को कोई तकलीफ नहीं हो और जो प्रॉब्लम हमारे सामने है हम उसको सॉल्व करें। ये सारी चीजें बात को हो सकती हैं।
आज दिल्ली की ये हालत है कि हर जगह पानी पानी है। आप इमेजिन करिए उन गरीब लोगों का जिनकी दुकानों में, जिनके घरों में पानी गया है। प्रॉब्लम ये होना ही था और इसमें कोई सरप्राइज़ नहीं था, क्योंकि अगर आप 9 साल से सरकार में अगर आप 1 रुपया भी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे खर्च नहीं करेंगे, सिर्फ फ्रीबी की राजनीति करेंगे, वोट बैंक की राजनीति करेंगे, तो कभी ना कभी तो दिल्ली और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कोलैप्स हो गई।
तो जो पानी आज दिल्ली के सड़कों में, कॉलोनीज में भरा हुआ है, वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ हरियाणा से आया हुआ पानी है। और अगर ऐसा हुआ है कि दिल्ली को सारा पानी छोड़ा गया, हरियाणा में नहीं छोड़ा गया, यूपी में नहीं छोड़ा गया, तो ये तो बहुत गंभीर मुद्दा है। इसका मतलब है कि जो दिल्ली में बाढ़ आई है उस बाढ़ को रोका जा सकता था।
आई थिंक ये मिसमैनेजमेंट है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट जो हुआ है दिल्ली में, ठीक है, उसका भी एक रीज़न हो सकता है। कहीं ना कहीं इतने पुल्स बने हैं दिल्ली में और बाकी लो लाइन एरिया में लोगों ने अपना जो है बसे हैं जाकर, तो उनको तो डेफिनेटली प्रॉब्लम होनी ही थी, क्योंकि वो यमुना का ही एरिया है और लोग रहेंगे, क्योंकि यमुना जनरली लोगों ने सूखी देखी है, इतना पानी कभी नहीं देखा। अब डेफिनेटली जब पानी आएगा तो फिर तो उनको प्रॉब्लम होनी ही है।
घरों में पानी नहीं आ रहा 3 दिन से, उसकी वजह से बहुत क्या नाम है प्रॉब्लम आ रही है। पीने का पानी नहीं है, छोटे छोटे बच्चे घर पे हैं, उनको लेटरिन, बाथरूम, ये खाने बनाने तक, शौचालय जाने तक की बड़ी समस्याएं हो रही हैं। क्या करें जब पानी नहीं होगा तो।
जब मैं अपने गांव से निकल के, गावड़ी गांव से निकल के मैं करकरडूबा अपने कोर्ट जा रहा था और वहां से मेरा बच्ची का स्कूल आ गया मयूर विहार में, तो मैं ट्रैफिक जैम में शास्त्री पारा की इधर बहुत बुरा हाल था उस दिन। अचानक सडनली मैं कम से कम आधा घंटा मैं उधर खड़ा रहा ट्रैफिक जैम में, डेड जैम था।
सर मेरे को ड्यूटी जाना था, 3 दिन हो चुके हैं, मेरी बेबी प्रेग्नेंट है, मेरे को ये हो रहा है कि जो छुट्टी कट के आई तो अपने बच्चों की कैसे डिलीवरी कराऊंगा, कहाँ कराऊंगा, किस तरीके से कराऊंगा। इधर हॉस्पिटल है वो भी बंद कर रखे हैं, रास्ते है ही नहीं सर, लेके कहाँ से जाऊँ। उधर जाए तो उधर कोई ट्रैफिक वाला नहीं जाने दे रहा, इधर पुलिस वाले नहीं आने दे रहे। ये बताइए हम जाए कहाँ, कैसे रहता रहेगा हमारे साथ, यही है हमारे साथ।
Let's go to CNN News 18's Nikhil Lakwani, who's joining us live and is continuously covering the situation on the ground in the capital. Right now, he's currently at civil lines. Nikhil, tell us more about the situation around you. Show us what's going on when it comes to the flood levels.
So Aisha, this civil lines area is one of the prominent area in the capital city because many of the officers of the Delhi government, they also reside from this particular place. most of the water has already resided at this particular location, but there are some of the low-lying areas where you can see that Venice-like picture is now coming out from this particular place. You can see that the water has already entered, and this is also one such place which continues to be, in fact this place has been submerged in the water for last 2 days, and this is the day 3rd, when in fact half of the vehicles are completely covered in water. There is this Fortuner car which has been parked inside one of the posh residences. It could be seen covered in water till half of the level. I would urge my camera person Vikas Singh Rawat, who has been working very tirelessly since this particular morning, to show you the more visuals as to how the children in the nearby areas, they have also started to swim. But this is something which need to keep a check on, because we have seen that how yesterday there were 3 of the children who have drowned in this water, which is now seen across the city. And there is car as well, Sia's car. This is one of the car which is close to 15 lakh rupees, but completely submerged in water, and this is going to require a proper servicing. The expenses will also be incurred once the water level completely resides from this particular place. But also there is a visual of the Swami Narayan temple, which is also at the Bela Road civil line, where the water has gone inside this location as well. I would also urge my camera person to keep moving further to show you the overall details as to how this particular low-lying area in the civil line is still in water. Although, as mentioned earlier, Aisha, there is this particular location where the water level majorly has resided, but since this is the low-lying area, hence we see that the cars and in fact the posh cars, the expensive cars, they are completely submerged in water. And this is the exact place from where I started reporting day before yesterday, when the water levels rise in the capital city, and this is the same place. Even on the day 3, the water level continues to be stagnant at this particular place. There's this Creta car which is now being seen in the visuals on the CNN News 18, that it is completely submerged in water. In fact, there were some other vehicles as well which has been moved out by the use of cranes, because there is this fear as well among all the owners that their cars has already suffered many of the damage. But this is the particular place where the water continues to be here, but at the same time we also need to keep a check on those children who are moving beyond a particular point. They are going inside the risky area, because there is also chances of the drowning. Although many of the routes surrounded this particular place, they have been guarded by the barricading which has been put up by the Delhi police, but at the same time this is also one such place where the restoration work needs to take place at the earliest. So there are other parts of the capital city which are also reporting the water. But if we talk about the overall details as far as the river Yamuna is concerned, the highest peak it has achieved so far is 208.65 mark, but now gradually the water level in the river Yamuna is gradually receding, and if it does not rain any further, then as mentioned by Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal as well, then we can expect some better situation would be seen in the capital city. But talking further about the monsoon update, there is information which has come out from the IMD department, where they have issued orange alert for the capital city and the nearby NCR region as well. So if it started raining in the capital city, then it will further add on to the woes of the resident of this particular area. But although there are other efforts which are being made by not just the civic authorities, but now the government has also got activated, and the NDRF team, 18 of the team of the NDRF, they are working round the clock across the capital city to make sure that the least of the less of the inconvenience is caused to the commuters and the residents. And also again these are the visuals where we are showing you that there are many of the vehicles, many of the posh expensive vehicles which have completely submerged in this particular water. Back to you, Aisha.
Nikhil, back in 2021, the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal had stated, and I quote, that a world-class drainage system will be developed across the national capital. What happened to those plans?
Well, we cannot hold Arvind Kejriwal completely responsible for this particular situation, because if we go by the details in the national capital Delhi, it has not, there has not even a single sign of the rainfall for last 3 to 4 days. All this water which we are seeing in the capital city is coming all the way from the Haryana and Himachal Pradesh, from the river Yamuna, because of the overflooding and the water which has been released in unprecedented manner, in unprecedented record for the very first time. So this is the reason why we are seeing that this kind of situation the national capital Delhi is seeing. But the unfortunate picture is, the unfortunate situation is that we are seeing that the Delhi government and the officers of the Delhi government, they are currently confronting each other. We have seen that the leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party and the civil servants who are deployed in other parts of the city, they have been experiencing the verbal spat. This is something which is the worrying picture in the capital city at a time when they should work properly and they should work together. At that particular time, they are playing the politics. Nobody is less. And this is something which is not the natural calamity, Aisha. And if it is not a natural calamity, then someone or the other needs to be responsible for the same. Someone has to take the responsibility as to who is the particular agency, authority or the government who is responsible for this kind of sorry picture in the capital city. In fact, why we are saying so, this is the posh civil lines area, Aisha, and the residence of Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal is just few meters away from this particular location. And yesterday as well, we have filed a report where the Delhi government officers fled. Close to 20 of the families, 100 of the family members, they have been evacuated safely by the NDRF officials. They were saying that they had come here from Loni to civil lines area with a view that this is comparatively better place, that no water would enter in this area. But such is the sorry picture where all the families have been evacuated. Many of the elder people were already there. So the the proper restoration work is already
all right,
underway.
Nikhil, thank you so much for joining us and bringing us that very comprehensive look at the situation around you and for telling us more important details when it comes to the flooding in the capital. We'll continue to track what the situation is. But right now we're going to be heading into a very short break. Do stay with us.